Welcome to the gun channel. So I took this P365XL, proceeded to add all this shit to it, and then I lowered my percentage how often I actually carried my carry gun. So with an open mind, I went back and I looked at the smaller P365. Both the original version as well as the ported SAS. Now I knew the SAS existed, but I didn't know it came ported. So I did what any good boy would do, and I bought 100 rounds of 9mm and grabbed a 365 regular and an SAS and hit the gun range. I should note that this P365 has over 25,000 rounds on it, and this SAS ported version has over 6,500 rounds on it. Anyone catching this video worried about the old problems that the original Sig P365 had with reliability can rest assured that 25,000 rounds through a small pistol like this, well, that ain't nothing. So that's certainly reassuring for any one of us who's already carrying these weapons, and that confirms a lot of what other people have been saying, that they have no problems with their 365 and we're good to go. Now the first difference that I noticed was the missing slide catch release button on the SAS. And then there's the sights. The standard P365 or the original 365 has amazing sights, and I wouldn't change a thing on those. The SAS sighting system is a new invention by Sig as far as I'm aware of, and has a very cool vibe. At my first go at it, I was slightly better with the traditional sights at 5 yards. The rear view of the SAS is actually pretty cool. However, I should note that I need reading glasses now that my eyes are getting older, and so my sight picture is not quite as clean as what you're seeing right here on the camera. Meaning if I'm not wearing my reading glasses, something that's right in front of my face at reading distance is slightly blurry. So my experience of this is when I held up the firearm, I could see a soft green light in front of me, and then when I aligned it with the target, sort of put it in line between my eye and the target, it got to be really bright when it was appropriate. So that was pretty interesting. I feel very certain that I could make this work for me if I got this gun, but it would take some practice. So if you can see near just fine, you're gonna even have a better experience than me. And then from there, of course, I wanted to just rip out 5 rounds in each gun to see what this ported barrel is gonna do for me. The original 365 felt a little bit smoother, if you could say that about such a small pistol, and the ported one felt snappier. I expected the opposite. However, looking at this footage, it did seem to settle back in the same spot just as good as the other one. And when I held the ported SAS in my hand, it literally felt lighter than the standard P365. So I was super curious, like the amount of weight they removed from the slide, making a lighter slide, would contribute to actually a snappier felt recoil, but then you would port it to counteract it. So why port it in the first place, right? No, dude, you don't get it. You pop a few holes in that slide and you put some ports in it, looks super dope and badass. Oh no, I get it. It looks super dope and badass, but isn't the reason to port the fucking barrel is to make the recoil more manageable and quicker in the small little snappy gun? Yeah, it totally makes it less snappy because we ported it, but it was only snappier because you lightened the slide to port it. Listen, you dipshit PewTuber. We're Sig. We know what the fuck we're doing. Well, that's just mean. I tried to look this up online and I really couldn't find anything conclusive, but I would just guess that by the time you removed some of that material off the slide and maybe cut into that barrel some, it would make the weapon a little bit lighter. The gun store told me that they are no longer selling the ported SAS, but you can still get them online. I've seen them around. You can buy them used. And they actually offered to sell me the SAS ported one there that had like over 6,000 rounds on it for just over 500 bucks. The triggers on both were exactly the same with the curved trigger. There's a little slack or take up, a defined wall, and a little bit of creep, and then the release. As many of you already know, the serialized part of this gun is actually the trigger assembly, so that's cool. You can really mix and match the slides and the grips with this gun module system that Sig has adopted and been using on, I think, most of their current weapons lately. So I picked up the regular 365 for myself. To be honest, if they had a new SAS ported gun there, I probably would have got it just because it looks dope as fuck. I never thought I would be one of those guys that would have like a P365XL and then also have a regular P365. I thought they were so close in size and whatnot that it wouldn't be that much of a difference, but I guess now I do. With these two guns, I can actually make a third version, basically a P365X. P365 slide with an XL lower with a flat trigger. Now, an actual X model does have a plate on the top to where you can mount a red dot to. So I can kind of make a P365X with these two guns. Kind of like if they had sex and this is a little baby that came out. I'm going to be keeping them both because, well, they're fucking awesome. Now moving down to a stripped down version of the P365, just the smallest version, I definitely have been carrying my gun a lot more. So I got a chance to go out to the gun range and I really was curious of how much of a hit I would take on presenting my gun and firing on target, rapid firing, aiming, all that stuff, right? Getting my bullets on a target. How big of a difference was it going to be between my XL and this little 365? And I really found out quite a few things. I started running some tests just for myself, and I found out that some of the stuff that I was worried about wasn't as big of a deal, and some of the other stuff kind of was a bigger deal. So I started running some tests, like I said, and keeping track of time, and I'm clear I'm going to be going out to the range the next time, and I'm going to do a scientific test on the XL and the X and the regular 365 and run through about a half a dozen drills and keep track of time and see which gun I actually do best with. How much does that curved trigger matter versus the flat trigger? I'm going to run all three guns out of the same holster, so I will remove the holster from the equation. So I have a lot of fun drills, and I already have some thoughts on that, but I'll make you wait for the video. So be sure and subscribe, or at least come back to the channel if you're interested in that. I plan on having a lot of fun making it and wasting a lot of money and ammo. I would like to express my gratitude for each and every one of you hanging out with me here on the Gun Channel, wasting your valuable time with me. It's really been fun to watch the channel slowly grow, and yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. See you soon.